Good morning. Welcome to the Path of Wildness, a walk of equanimity. So this is just a little bit of like a morning meditation that I do to kick off the day. Do this every day, and it's kind of evolved over time. I did it before in my when I was riding my motorcycle to work. Now I do it in my car, and it's more effective in the motorcycle for some reason. But let's give this a try. This is the first time to record it like this. So here's how it goes. Usually, like I said, I'm doing it in my mind, so it doesn't spill out so fluidly when I do it vocally. I'm behind a big truck getting on the freeway. A little tricky here. Let me get going. The truck must be full of stuff. Okay, here we go. The Path of Wildness, a walk of equanimity. The Path of Wildness is nothing more than an effort to get through life, to move through life in such a way as to perform virtuous acts guided by reason, such that things wind up a little better than they might have been if you hadn't been here. There are it's so hard to say it. It's so hard to spill it out this way. It's like, and being so long overseas, being so long back from Japan, I've lost that. You can really lose that vlogger sense. But anyway. So there are 7 principles in the Path of Wildness. The first principle is what I call the atomic principle, and it simply is an observation that the universe is made of bits and pieces, which in turn are composed of energy. So there are everything is formed of compounds, which are formed of molecules, which are formed of atoms, which in turn are formed of subatomic particles, which are really nothing more than a frozen form of energy, and that these things are changing and recomposing themselves all the time. And whatever is today was something else yesterday. Wow, and there's a pylon right in the middle of the road. And will be something else altogether tomorrow. It's almost like slot cars. Wow. Never mind. I think that's okay. I was thinking about calling that in. I usually call in 911 stuff for obstacles on the road, but I think that one's okay. It's been beat up to heck, and I think I don't think it's that much of a hazard. So anyway, the atomic principle that everything is bits and pieces flowing together, changing and recomposing, and that whatever the way this relates to whatever all of us around, everything around us will be is changing. There's nothing really that permanent, and that what we are as well is in constant state of flux. What I am will be here momentarily and will be gone soon. Keeping that in mind is a helpful thing. The next principle is the principle of nature. Everything in the universe has a particular nature, and our nature is the nature of humans is to be social animals and work together towards solving problems and towards understanding the universe. We basically use our big brains to sort things out and to come up with solutions and to work together for a common good. It's also good to understand the nature of individuals so that you can live your life according to that. I've determined that my nature is to walk and think, and mostly to walk alone and think, and to sort those out. And then I use venues like this to share what comes of those deliberations. The next principle is the social principle. The social principle is simply an observation that human beings are social animals. We need one another, and our best ends are social ends. The best virtue that we can strive for is virtue that benefits ourselves as well as our fellows. Social virtue. So to that end, I'm very happy that I'm a civil servant and I get to work in that capacity. I feel very privileged in that regard. It's a very good thing every morning to go to work, even though my work is hard. It's a good feeling to go in and be working towards social ends. The next principle is the principle of temperance, which is the idea of utilizing our resources in an more effective manner by not overindulging in consumption of anything: food, drink, sleep, work, play. Even temperance, indulging in too much temperance. Temperance is a shortcut to virtue. The moment that you exercise restraint, you're performing a virtuous act. There is no inherent virtue in indulgence. There is virtue flows like a fountain through the man or woman or child that exercises restraint. The next virtue, the next principle is the principle of indifference. The universe doesn't care about us. We're basically on our own here, apparently. When you look out, and if you go out into wild places and you look out into the universe, you'll see that the universe stares back at you with cold, dead eyes, which even that's a flattering compliment, because that assumes that there was anything living there to begin with. There's nothing like that. The universe is wholly indifferent to us, and it's good to go out into wild places and see that. Some people say that they go out into wild places and they front God. They meet deity out there. I think they're meeting something within themselves. I found nothing like that, no evidence of that. Now, I know that that's weak evidence, it's not empirical, or well, I guess it is in a way. I go out, I observe, looks like there's nothing out there. Come up with a hypothesis, it says there's nothing out there. I keep going back and observing, nothing out there. I go out there in different forums, deserts, mountains, oceans, nothing out there, just life and some sentience, but nothing beyond that. That's kind of empirical. People that see otherwise, I think, are reading into, they're anthropomorphizing the universe with what they want to see, which is basically themselves, and finding themselves, imposing themselves upon the universe. So that's a useful thing to know that the universe doesn't care, because it keeps your perspective right, and it also helps to know that it appears that there's nothing, no other life or other world beyond this. Make do with what we've got. Make your best of it. The next principle is the principle of reason, which is the governing faculty. Reason is the application, is the pursuit of an understanding of the universe by way of logic, using the formulation of observing facts. Like I said just before, coming up with hypotheses, testing those, scientific method basically, and coming up and refining those. Using reason is the instrument by which science advances, and also by which we can apply logic to better understand the universe. Reason is the governing faculty. Final principle is the purpose of life, which is virtue. Virtue is nothing more than the exercise of reason for the betterment of society, for overall improvement, social improvement, and natural world improvement, with under the guidance of human rights, with respect to human rights and individual rights. So it's important to balance those two. You have to have a balance between society and the individual. If you just strive after the common good, you may find the individuals paying the price for that. Whereas if you strive for just individual good, then of course the opposite. You just end up with the society pays for that. So it's best to have a balance. It's probably one of the reasons why the United States Founding Fathers implemented the Bill of Rights, which is basically the guideline to make sure that the pursuit of social ends doesn't come at the expense of the individual. So, in summary then, the Path of Wildness is a walk of equanimity, wherein the man or woman or child that so endeavors seeks to live a virtuous life with an understanding of the transient nature and the impermanent nature of our existence, with respect to their own nature, their own nature that's understood and identified and abided as much as possible, towards living life towards pursuing social ends, with the exercise of temperance, with a recognition that the universe doesn't seem to give a shit about us. All we have is one another. And through the application of reason as the governing faculty. That is the Path of Wildness, a walk of equanimity, and at all times it demands a careful review of the principles so described and so maintained. There we go. There's my morning meditation complete. For today is the 21st, June 21st, 2016. Take care. Just under 10 minutes. Not bad. See ya.